Hi, I'm Xavier Jenkins, and I'm here today to orient you on a very important aspect of business, one that going forward will help you in your careers. We're going to today cover sales and relationship management, and that is an introduction, in this case, to sales, relationship management, and the importance of that in banking and in other businesses. From an introduction standpoint, let's talk for a minute about why this is important, why sales and relationship management is important. So that really translates to why is this module important. Today, sales isn't isolated. It's important that you know that we live in a more virtualized world where customer relationships have become one-on-one. And what that really means is everyone in a business entity who at all touches a customer or client, or however you want to define the person that powers that business through their transactions with that business, every single person, whether their title is sales or not, is today in sales. I think the best way to think of it is if you right now were to go on Amazon or Yelp or any of the other sites out there that sell or advocate for products and services, you'll see individuals are the ones that convince you to buy simply by their endorsements of a particular product or a particular service. That is the way the internet works, and by the way, that's now the way that business works. So today in business, it's important to understand that even if you're not a salesperson, you're actually in a somewhat of a sales role as you interact with any client. It's also important to note that in today's world, any job that you're in, your external activity, which is related to dealing with customers, is important, but also many of the skill sets that are associated with sales and relationship management are key for your internal work, survivability within a job. So how you communicate with people, how you help build a team, how you contribute to the overall efforts of everything that's happening within that organization comes down to sales and relationship management. That's what we'll be discussing as we go through these slides. Program overview. I'm going to give you a sense of what we're doing here. This program, by the way, is designed for you to be able to go through the entire program stage by stage. It's also designed for you to be able to, at any point, touch on elements of the program that are important to you in the future. So an example of that is you'll be able to understand, let's say, the right mindset and the right skill set today to help you get oriented in terms of sales. But later on, 6 months into a job, let's say, when you're trying to understand how to accelerate your performance, you can revisit the mindset element of this and take another look at that and figure out if you're doing everything you can be doing, if there's some refinements you could do, that sort of thing. Key to that is being able to look at things like the sales process. I can tell you as a person who's been in sales for 25 years, you never, ever get to a point where you're not revisiting the sales process. So when we developed this module, we did it in such a way that you can pull any of these pieces out at any one time, and in doing that, be able to have a refresher. Okay? So that's really important. So the two tracks again, track one is an introduction to sales. The assumption is that the folks that are seeing these slides are not, or seeing this presentation are not well versed in sales. So we're going to give you an understanding of sales, and these are the elements that are a part of that. But then we're going to also cover in detail in track two the various elements of relationship management to give you again a sense of what that is, why that's important, and why you need to be good at that in order to, again, accelerate your career. Become important to the organization that takes you on within a few days of starting. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today, and hopefully that makes sense to you. Again, you'll be able to revisit these slides at any time, but let's get started here. Now, sales by definition. Now this is important. I got to tell you, if you go on Google right now and you just type in sales, there will be literally in point something seconds, literally millions of definitions of sales and other things that are associated with sales. So if you're new to sales, just trying to understand what sales is can be confusing. And so that we just want to kind of give you, a sense of what that's like. So I did it. And again, as I said, in just no time at all, 81 million results. You know, it's a lot. So I took a basic definition for you to give you a sense of what sales really is. Very basic definition: sales, the act of selling something. Now that's important because something, really, the other word for that is anything. So the act of selling anything, the exchange of goods, services, or property for money. So again, think about that in the sense of any job, anywhere, every company, their value proposition is based on the exchange of their services or their goods for, guess what? Money. And as a result of that, sales becomes the things that drives every organization. It's really the way I want you to think about that. Now, because that's the way it is, the truth of the matter is, because it's so wide and so varied, people actually tend to define sales not by that definition, but they tend to actually define sales by their experiences. And because of that, most people have a negative view of sales. Interestingly, you can see on this one slide here, on this one picture, we're going to try to do this here for you quickly. I want you to notice that. Now, I think I'll go a little bigger here so you can really see it. This guy, he's got his fingers crossed. So inherently in that slide, what I'm trying to show you in that one picture is that that's really how people tend to see sales. They see it as something that is literally a little bit shady, a little bit dishonest. We want you to know that that's not the case. Okay? What's happening? I can do it that way. And again, I'm having a little fun here, but I want to get the whole gist of this across to you. It's important to know that this really is how folks view it, and it helps kind of impact the way people consider sales as a career. Most times thinking, hey, no, not only am I not really going to be good at this, but I'm not a person who can take advantage of people. That impression of sales is the one that will keep you actually unsuccessful or out of the game when you really should be thinking differently. I've already started to talk about this, but why aren't more people in sales? The truth of the matter is, the number one reason is they believe they are not going to be good at it. So they don't believe they can do this. So what that translates into is, it means I feel bad asking for money. It means, you know, I don't know where to look for customers. And it typically means I'm not persuasive. However, every single person, if you spend a moment and think about things that you like, you begin to kind of understand that everything that you're excited about or that you feel is valuable, you're actually able to talk about it in a positive way. So if I ask you to think about things like, a great vacation that you had, you'll automatically tell me, hey, listen, you know, the Adirondacks were awesome. We had a great time. Here's the things we liked about it. Even if you met someone who said, I don't like the Adirondacks, and you loved it, you'll actually be able to tell them, hey, listen, what do you mean you don't like the Adirondacks? Here's what my family did. What did you do? Did you miss the foliage? Did you miss this? Did you miss that? And you end up having an exchange of ideas. And that person may walk away from that conversation thinking, maybe I didn't do the right things when I was in the Adirondacks, or maybe I didn't, you know, get to the right activities. And you end up impacting that person's perception of the Adirondacks. That, believe it or not, is sales. And that's why I'd like to tell you what the secret really is, and that is that we're all in sales. That's important to understand going forward. We're all in sales. Now, let's talk about this for a moment. This is really, really key. The right mindset and the right skills is what's required to be involved in sales. And we're going to define sales in a few minutes, but this is important to get up front, because if you don't have a sense of how this works, then the definitions of sales in terms of the nitty-gritty of it won't really make sense, because you won't really be involved and engaged. So let's have a quick review of this. Attitude is everything. This is something we all hear. We've heard it, you know, on everything from motivational speakers to, you know, teachers have told us attitude is everything. Coaches have told us attitude is everything. If you're lucky, parents have told you attitude is everything. But in this business, it's really true. One of the things I want you to think about is, are you selling, are you telling, or are you sharing? And I'll give you a sense of what that means. Again, if your attitude is right, you're out front and you're leading. But let's dig a little further. Okay? The idea behind a proper sales and engagement is that you're really helping. You're solving problems. If you understand that, and if you're in an environment where you're confident with that, then you're able to actually do something other than feel like you are taking advantage of a person, extracting money from them for something that's not worth the money. If you are in a place where you're helping and solving problems, then you can actually feel assured that you're doing the right thing. So the key in sales, especially in transactional sales, is being able to say, how can I help? And if you can genuinely find a way to help, then you're going to be in a place where you're no longer selling in the way that people look at as a negative sort of thing. Hopefully that makes sense to you.